Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kelly Ripa is addressing the unsolicited comments on her appearance. On Wednesday's episode of Live with Kelly and Ryan, the talk show host, 51, shared a message for those who choose to weigh in on her hairstyle of choice. The conversation began after her co-host Ryan Seacrest revealed that he briefly grew out his hair for an Oscars performance that would be taped hours later. He added that he planned to cut his hair shorter after filming the special, receiving a resounding awe from the audience. Seacrest, 47, responded, "We'll survive. It'll be fine," prompting Ripa to wonder if people frequently share their thoughts on his hair. The American Idol alum asked Ripa for clarity as she explained, "People weigh in on my hair in a way. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask you. I thought you meant at the store. Like, do people come and weigh in?" Seacrest replied, "No, people do," Ripa stated. "They come up in the store and they're like, 'I like your hair this length,' and I'm like, gives the thumbs up sign." Appearing to be a fan of her reaction, Seacrest urged, "Please continue to do that to Kelly." She added, "I'm like, I have no comparison for your hair, but I assume it looks pretty great every day." Producer Michael Gelman chimed in and said it's not unusual for viewers to write in with their opinions of Ripa and Seacrest's hairstyles, the height of your hair, what your hair looks like, what you should do with your hair. Both of you, Gelman, 60, said, adding that fans don't have much to say about his hair. "Not much to talk about," he quipped. Ripa is no stranger to candidly speaking about her hair. She admitted on the daytime talk show last month that she tried to hide her gray roots. "During the early days of the pandemic, I had embraced my gray hair privately, while publicly I was using brown eyeshadow to paint my roots some shade that wasn't Santa Claus white," she revealed. "But in real life, I go, oh, I look great with gray hair, you can barely tell," she joked while shaking her head. After dabbling with going gray, Ripa said Cher's vow to never go gray inspired her to stick with blonde. Cher was saying that gray hair is not for her. She is not caving in, she doesn't care about the trend, you know. People are embracing their gray hair all over the place. Everybody's embracing their gray hair, Ripa explained. "I need to dye my hair," she added. However, she encourages other women to embrace their natural hair color if they wish. "I think certain people look great with their gray hair," Ripa continued. "I think it depends on the person. I really do. If you're a public figure, especially one as enduringly visible as Kelly Ripa, then you've probably developed a sixth sense for unsolicited advice. The kind that arrives in your DMs at 3 a.m., seeps into your Instagram comments under a photo of your dog. Or, as Ripa recently revealed, gets served to your face while waiting in line at Whole Foods." Kelly Ripa is no stranger to the limelight. She's been a mainstay on our televisions since the 1990s, evolving from All My Children's fiery Haley Vaughn to morning TV royalty on Live, where she's charmed audiences alongside a rotating cast of co-hosts, most recently her husband, Mark Consuelos. But while Kelly's bubbly energy and sharp humor have been constants, one thing that often changes, sometimes dramatically, is her hair. Blonde, brunette, pixie cut, layered lob, beachy waves, sleek and straight, you name it, she's rocked it. But apparently, not all fans have loved every follicular chapter of her life, and some of them, they've felt the overwhelming need to tell her so. In person, people will literally stop me and say, "You shouldn't wear your hair like that. You look better with it longer," Kelly said recently during an episode of Live with Kelly and Mark. "And I'm just standing there. Like, cool, I didn't ask you." Let's pause there. Can we talk about this epidemic of uninvited beauty commentary? Because what Kelly's describing is something that many people, particularly women in the IBP public eye, endure on a nearly daily basis. And it's not just about hair, it's about boundaries, entitlement, and the strange sense of ownership that fans and critics sometimes feel over celebrities' bodies, lives, and yes, haircuts. From hair to headlines, Kelly's anecdote was both funny and painfully relatable. Delivered with her signature mix of sass and warmth, the story sparked knowing laughter from her studio audience. But it also highlighted something a little deeper, the psychological toll of living under a microscope. "Listen, I've done every hair mistake possible," she joked, brushing her hand through her honey blonde bob. "I've bleached it, chopped it, overlayered it, and even tried the 90s chunky highlight thing. And I've heard from strangers about every single one." Let's be real. Hair is one of the most personal aspects of self-expression. It's also one of the most scrutinized, especially for women. From politicians to pop stars to morning show hosts, there's an exhausting double standard when it comes to appearance. If a male celebrity changes his hairstyle, he's reinventing himself. If a woman does it, she's having a breakdown. She looked better before, or the dreaded she's trying too hard. And here's the kicker, this kind of feedback isn't even limited to online trolls. As Kelly made clear, it's often doled out by well-meaning or at least self-described that way fans. They think they're being helpful, Kelly continued. Like they're giving you the gift of their opinion, but honestly, it's just weird. Imagine walking up to a stranger and telling them their haircut was a mistake. You wouldn't do that, right? But for some reason, with TV people, it's like there's no boundary. The parasocial hairdresser, there's a term for this phenomenon, parasocial interaction. It describes the one-sided relationships we form with public figure celebrities, influencers, even fictional characters. Over time, we start to feel like we know them. We see them every day, hear their voices, follow their lives. And because of that familiarity, the lines between fan and friend start to blur. But familiarity isn't consent. Watching someone on television doesn't give you the right to critique their appearance, choices, or personal style. Yet parasocial dynamics trick us into thinking we're close enough to give advice, especially the unsolicited kind. For Kelly, whose job literally involves sitting on camera 5 days a week and being herself, that line gets crossed more often than she'd like. Sometimes I'll be out to dinner and someone will come up just to tell me, "You need bangs again," she said, laughing. I'm like, okay, great, should I cancel my order and book a salon appointment? Hair today, gone tomorrow. Here's a fun and slightly horrifying thought experiment. What if you had to consult a crowd of strangers every time you wanted to change your look? What if your coworkers, your barista, and your high school chemistry teacher all weighed in on your new layers, your curtain bangs, or your decision to finally go full gray? That's Kelly's reality. Only instead of coworkers, it's America. And they're not shy. When she went brunette in 2022, the response was mixed. Some fans loved the rich chocolatey hue, others practically begged her to go back to blonde. One comment read, "Kelly, you're a summer. That hair color is too harsh on your features." Ouch. Another classic, "You look tired with that haircut. The longer style suits you better." Just saying. Just saying. That phrase, casual, dismissive, often passive-aggressive, is the punctuation mark of the unsolicited opinion. It's the verbal equivalent of a shrug and a backhanded compliment, and Kelly has heard it more times than she can count. The real issue, ownership and control, what this all comes down to isn't really about hair. It's about control. Or, more specifically, the illusion of control that fans feel over celebrities. We want our favorite stars to stay the same, frozen in the version we fell in love with. For Kelly, that might be the bubbly blonde from Regis and Kelly, perpetually glowing, eternally perky. But real people change. They age, they experiment, they try new things, and they're allowed to. I think people forget that I'm a human being, she said. Not a character, not a Barbie. I change my hair because I want to. Not because someone commented, "Bring back the bangs," under a selfie. And that brings us to an important point. Celebrities, no matter how familiar they seem, don't owe us aesthetic consistency, or explanations, or deference to our personal preferences. Kelly keeps it real despite the unsolicited advice. Kelly Ripa handles it all with her trademark grace. She's not bitter, just bemused, and candid. Always candid. "I think people mean well," she said. "At least, I hope they do. But just because you have access to someone doesn't mean you should use that access to critique their hairline." In a world where we're encouraged to voice every thought, Kelly's response is refreshingly firm. Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. The takeaway: boundaries are healthy, silence is underrated, and not every thought needs to be shared, especially if it starts with no offense. But, final thoughts. Let the woman live. As women, we're often taught to smile and nod when people offer opinions on our appearance. As public figures, celebrities are expected to take it even further, respond, defend, adapt. But Kelly Ripa is setting a new standard. One where polite deflection meets quiet rebellion. Where you can laugh off the weirdness without accepting it as normal. Where "I didn't ask you" becomes a full sentence, so the next time you spot Kelly Ripa in the wild and feel the urge to shaw,